Hey guys, so this week's weekly boss raid is an interesting one. I think most of you guys are actually familiar with these patterns, and that is overcharge. The character deals more damage, but the enemy will also deal an increased damage. So you really want to burst at that moment. Sequoia flame also spawns, and what happens here? The Sequoia flame will actually follow and track the character and explode and does a significant amount of damage. The other mechanic is Sandstorm. I think we're most likely familiar with this because we've seen this last week. Is basically the entire map goes red and then a sandstorm appears that spins around the map. If you happen to touch one of them, it will follow you throughout the map and eventually it will disappear. The other mechanic is Rune of Anguish. Basically it's a magic circle that's placed for 1 minute. If the enemy is on the magic circle, they have reduced accuracy, increased crit rate, and crit damage. This is typically something you want to get if you're standing on it, but at the same time you want to make sure you have enough accuracy to offset that debuff. And unfortunately this week we have the block specialty mechanic, so this boss is actually capable of blocking. If you have block penetration and increased accuracy, both of these will go a long way in terms of Ichor. So another thing to note about this boss is that the boss type is actually insect. So with insect type bosses, you want to make sure you use the insect goddess potions and along with the mutant cards. The red insect cards, so it increases your damage against insect. So typically when you perform this weekly boss raid, the enemy, you want to take Naktis to the right side because that is where the overcharge will start spawning. You really want to have both the enemy and yourself within this square because both of you will achieve a 50% increased damage. And when she does the overcharge, you guys both get an additional 200% damage. Now at a certain point throughout the game, the sandstorm does appear and it will follow you throughout the map, so be mindful of the damage that occurs here. It does a lot of damage. Notice the Rune of Anguish that appears. You can stand on it, but at the expense of reduced accuracy. What you'll get an increase in crit damage and crit rate. Typically, if you have enough accuracy, you want to get at least 5 or 6 stacks of the Rune of Anguish. That will go a long way of increasing your damage. Notice that the overcharge is slowly buffing. You want to be ready at a certain point to have all your burst potential ready to do the damage required at that 200% increased damage mark. At a certain point after the overcharge, the square platforms will rotate in a clockwise position, so the next area that you want to stand in is the bottom area, and then eventually the left area, and then the north area. This is a very similar mechanic seen in joint strike raids. If you guys haven't done that before, I highly encourage you guys to do that. You get rewards and Goddess Grace. One thing that I've noticed is her block specialty. At a certain point, even if you're both within the same platform and you have increased damage, her block potential, her basically her ability to block damage from you significantly mitigates a lot of your damage potential. And typically I've seen this around the total damage around 1 billion mark, which is about half of the match time in, about 3 or 4 minutes in. You'll start noticing that your damage decreases significantly. With that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the video. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe at the buttons below. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video or in game.